to show you a little bit of what NIMR has been able to contribute to science and national development. And then to mention a bit of our challenge to the Board of Trustees. And thereafter, of course, I will thank the Board of Trustees, and then we wait for response from them, and thereafter we'll visit one or two places as much as they have anything to do. We have deliberately left NIMR Foundation towards the last, because we know if you are not reached there, you cannot say you are going. So, so that after that, then we can end it with meeting the press. Okay, so many of us are really familiar with the vision and mandate of NIMR. Basically, to conduct research in the fields of public health importance in Nigeria. The only challenge we've been having in this area is that we have been more proactive in infectious diseases. Non-communicable disease, or diseases as we know, have been projected by about 2030 to meet up with infectious disease, if not past them. And we are still here battling with infectious disease. We needed to begin to also plan for non-communicable diseases in terms of research, finding solutions to the problem. We are now dealing with so-called double burden of disease for Africa, and Nigeria being a typical African country. It's not left out. So these are the mandates generally, which covers not just infectious diseases, but also non-communicable diseases. As we speak, we are only active in one or two areas of non-communicable diseases because we do not have researchers on ground that will take up that bit of our research area. Now, the reason why we have come begging that you all be part of the NIMR Research Foundation is because we discovered not too many, very long time ago, that health research is not being well funded in Nigeria. But it's not just Nigeria, generally in Africa. And the slides that I've shown, the two of them, one is showing the percentage of health research funding in total health budget. And the other one is showing the percentage of health budget, health research budget by GDP, taken for African countries. I believe Uganda, South Africa, Nigeria, and Kenya. Kenya and South Africa are the only one you can see the bar. Nigeria and Uganda, you can see them with an eye of it, really. It shows that we are not getting enough funding for research as it is. Now to come to NIMR itself, the blue color shows the proposed budget, and is that red or brown? I'll call it red, is release, amount release. And then the green one is the percentage of research, health research funding that NIMR has got. You can see that's practically flat throughout. Because we are looking at the budget we got generally, including personnel, including capital, including other things, intervention put together. And when we took out research in it, you can see it's almost flat. But then the year 2017 to now has seen a little bit of increase in our total budget, not necessarily increase in research until 2023, which is not showing. This is showing up to 2022. Even then, most of the innovations and contributions that NIMR was able to make was between these years. suggesting that if we put more money in research, we will have more contributions to national development as this. So, of recent, during the COVID pandemic, because we are assuming that COVID has packed its load in Nigeria, hopefully, we had this drive and walk-through. We started with the drive-through, and we discovered that it's only elites who have cars that are driving. And there are a lot of people hanging around the gate who also wanted tests, so we added walk-through. And this was the layout at the time. We were visited by BBC and many other international news agencies were contacting us and asking quite a number of relevant questions to what was going on at the time. The importance of that was that we were able to predict the second and the third waves. It's just to show the usefulness of research. Because we follow the report, we follow the testing. The testing is the blue one, and the result is the red one. And you can see the 3 waves that we had in Nigeria. It was typical from that field. And we were able to say, okay, we think in the next 1 week we are going to have another wave, so that people can prepare, NCDC can prepare. So we are providing that kind of information. And the other bar chart up there is, it's about the zero study, the burden of COVID that we did during the time when NCDC was still announcing less than 100,000 cases. But we were able to show them that indeed people, up to 20-something% of people in Lagos and Enugu State have actually come in contact with the virus. And this information was rightly passed to the then chairing committee, because the study was sponsored by NCDC, NIMR, and I believe University College London. It provided some more funding for us to be able to do so. Again, we were lucky, I would say, to have young people who are interested and enthusiastic in sequencing, and we were the first to sequence that index case that came to Nigeria. Again, because we had funding, we were able to purchase next generation sequencer, and that's why we were able to do all of it. We were following the circulating strains in Nigeria, providing information to the NCDC and Ministry of Health. We even became very ambitious. We started developing vaccine. We haven't been successful. Sometimes some people think that's not what we should be doing. But we feel that if we don't start, we will not land the road. And when we have epidemics in another time, we might just sit down again and be looking, just like we were looking the last time. And vaccines were being given to those the countries that produce them. And since we couldn't produce them, we have to wait. So we tried to do a subunit protein COVID vaccine. And at the same time, we're trying to go the old way, where you just inactivate the vaccine. At the point where we needed the reagent to inactivate, we couldn't get any. So we got stopped, and then we continued with the sub-units. We finally came up with something. Because at that time, we just designed, but we were not able to produce. So we sent to, I don't know where it was sent to, Germany or Australia or somewhere. At that time, no flight was going about. So it was first sent to US, then it was sent to South Africa. Finally, somebody helped us to pay in South Africa, because CBN was not allowing us to pay at that time. I can't remember exactly what was the reason. So we asked somebody to pay. Eventually, it got back to us, and we tried to purify it, and then did animal study. Of course, we didn't get much of a response. But we are happy that we have been able to follow that process, and we are back to that process again. This was where we were, the day we wanted to inject the animal. We just thought that it's not as easy as that, but if it is possible to get anything, we will have something to show. But we didn't get as much as we thought, and fund was also an issue. But we are back there now because eventually we form an alliance or a consortium with Madam Fode University in Sokoto, NVRI in Jos, University of Jos itself, and then the National Chemical Research Institute. They were supposed to produce the nanotechnology through which we can, as an adjuvant to the vaccines. That team is still working because we got a grant of about 400 million from TED Fund, shared among the 4 institutions. Now, these are some of the things we've been able to do. I just showed you some of them when we were coming out of my office now. And then these ones. So really, if this is something that excited us much more, at the time there were no ventilators around, and people who needed oxygen during COVID were not getting oxygen. So we got in contact with some of our friends in the US, specifically New York University, and one of their engineers talked to us about adapting a CPAP machine, which used to be used for chronic obstructive pulmonary disease treatment, and adapt it to an oxygen helmet. So we did that, and then we tried it. We got funding from the CDC Foundation in the US, and another from the Salako Foundation. So we were able to ship the helmets and the CPAP to Nigeria, couple them together, and then trained about 8 teaching hospitals in the use of the helmet at the time. Many of them describe it as a game changer for treating their patients. Again, these are the product of research if funding is available. I also mentioned the fact that with the Federal Ministry of Health and the entomology survey, we were able to discover hitherto an unknown vector in the sub-region, but known in other areas. It's actually a WHO notifiable vector, which was discovered in Biri in Gombe State. What we are planning to do currently is to map the country to see whether there are other areas where this is. Because this is an urban vector, rugged, and causes malaria, I think malaria and ambience. And it may perhaps be one of the reasons why we've been finding it difficult to eradicate malaria in Nigeria. Now, when the foundation came on board, it was preoccupied with finding funds both for foundation and NIMR. And we had to do a lot of advocacy visits. And if you guys remember, I brought to you the word coined by His Excellency, the Chairman, the researcher evangelism, which I've used that word in an international meeting one day on Zoom, and we were like, what is this? I said, well, this is part of our thinking of how we can engage our government and private sector to be able to connect them to support research, and that we cannot just sit down hoping that they will join us. We have to look at the business side of research to encourage them so they know that there is a return on investment. So we did a lot of that, and the foundation was able to raise over 300 million naira for the foundation, and of course the foundation was meant to do more of training, PhDs, MDs, and supports travel grants and sabbatical grant writing workshop, which the foundation has done one. And NIMR itself did one before, and we're already planning to do the second one now. So one of the visits to the Federal Ministry of Finance, and Budget and Finance, we were able to convince the minister through the effort of the Board of Trustees, especially the chairman. All of us were there. And then we got 1 billion naira for research alone in 2020. 2023 budget. I thought you were going to... Maybe you are like me, because the day the chairman called me and said, Prof, how much did you call that? How much do you really want? I said 5 billion. I said, let's start with something small. Maybe they were expecting something bigger. But it's perhaps the highest NIMR has ever gotten in many years. It is the highest. Well, yeah, I didn't go to grammar school. So forgive me. So I have decided that we should therefore show the Board of Trustees our plans on how to use that fund. And we have a departmental research grant at about 262 million. And then we have our central research laboratory, which houses our sequencers, PCRs, and many other things. You will see them as you visit the place, about 42 million. Research support, that's clinical diagnostic department, which supports investigations for many of our research, 25 million. NIMR Research Foundation for the grant writing and workshop for 3 years, 150 million. Then we have some grants that we have termed innovation grants that can come up with results that can lead to policy change or review, or in fact, a kind of bed to bed, from bench to bedside that can be useful. Most of the things that I showed you, some of the grants that will produce that kind of results. That's about 125 million. We left for extramural grants because we were hoping that NIMR would become a council which will be funding research, and that we can use this year to introduce that to the Nigerian health researchers, about 400 million. And internal grants for researchers in NIMR, we have both junior and senior at about 124 million. So we have a total of 1.129. If we didn't get that 1 billion, what was given to research was 129 million, which practically cannot do anything. So I thought we should let the Board of Trustees know about these intentions, even though some of them have been carried out, and some have not. And if there are comments and suggestions on that, we'll take it. These are just breakdown for departmental grants. And these are the innovative ones. I would love to read some of them out. I think the first one has to do with establishing a demographic health survey for trials and surveys in Ikede. And have been doing this pro bono. Nobody has asked for fund. Okay, sorry. Our challenges. I think the most painful one is inadequate staff. Recently, the man who is leading our vaccine development experiment resigned. He's working with another company. And we had to kind of stylishly tie his hand to us because he's still in Nigeria to